Okay, guys, we have the streaming of our video footage, which will go on the YouTube channel, starting on the bottom of page 119, where she mentions, "I feel a lump forming in my throat. I swallow hard because my lips want to say Gordon wasn't a mistake. It was just bad timing. But instead, I say, that's nice. How's he doing? Fine. He looks great. I can tell he works out. He said he saw you and your girlfriends at the Jill Scott concert, but you didn't mention it. I wasn't sure if that was him or not. It's been so long, and it's Jill Scott, Leon. Anyway, he was picking up what looked like his new girlfriend, the way he greeted her. And man, oh man, I must give the man credit for having good taste, because she was absolutely breathtaking. I think she might be from Africa. She just looked exotic and unbelievably graceful. Anyway, I told Gordon that they should stop by sometime, and he said he'd love to. That's nice, I said. What breathtaking girlfriend? This is her thoughts. What breathtaking girlfriend? Why wasn't she at the concert with him? What part of Africa? And what was she doing to appear to be so graceful? And why do I even care? This is ridiculous to be this curious. I'm privately embarrassed by it. I'd be good to see him. Or it'd be good to see him, I say, and leave it at that. I gave him my card and put our home number on the back. He said he'd give us a call real soon. Hey, Spence, he says, turning away from me. Don't you want to introduce your mom to Brianna? Okay. She's something. This is the bottom of page 120. I look at Spencer and he hunches his shoulders up like he doesn't get it either. Where are those young men whose cars are blocking half of the driveway? Go upstairs and tell Omar, Milton, Tavis, and Conrad that they better get their butts down here and to say hello and give me my hug or no edibles like steak or cake. They're watching the Lakers. Where's Arthurine hiding? I'm right over here. Hello, Arthurine. And how are you, Prezel? This is the dialogue going on. It's such a sweet dialogue, but a lot of thoughts, because this is a family gathering. So she's loading up the paragraphs with quick dialogue, heavy thought. Quick dialogue, heavy thought. Quick dialogue, heavy thought. And then it goes down and they conversate, not too much thought. It says they start to talk about how Leon nice enough to pick up Prezel, give Prezel a lift, Arthurine, and then Arthurine starts to get upset because he was not. Leon told me to start my car up at least once a week and let it run for 20 minutes or so, which I've done. Middle of page 22. I also have driven it back and forth in the driveway to rotate the tires. She sighs and then takes a deep breath. Now, what do you have in those bags? This is bottom of page 122. I'm glad you're having a good time, Brazil. You look quite dapper today. Why, thank you, Miss Grimes. Call me Marilyn. Why, thank you, Marilyn. Now he's blushing. Top of page 123. We're just looking at the dialogue here. It's all about dialogue. Now, at the end of this chapter-ish, we're going to talk about, on page 126 is where, on page, bottom of page 125 is where we're going to meet Brianna, right? But up until that point, we're going to talk, let me get my notes in order here. Page 123. We go page 123. We get a lot of dialogue from Arthurine and Spencer, his grandmother. So they're talking. talking and talking and talking. And then Marilyn, she's in the background, kind of listening in. And then he's getting to know Prezell as well. I'm sorry, Prezell, you were saying. Um, then Leon chimes in, I believe. Or there may be Prezell. In the middle of page 124. I thought it was Leon. I'm thinking it's Leon. That's Prezell right in the middle. And he talks about he was purely entertained by all the different topics that they chose to talk about. Well, Prezell, did you express how you felt about it? I didn't think nothing about it, one way or the other. But if I had felt like talking, I probably would have said that I don't think getting on no bus proved all that much. All a man needs to do to prove he's a man is work hard. Marilyn, it was really nice just listening to these young men talk about so many different issues, using big words and sounding so intelligent. I couldn't say anything but for smiling. And to think that they are all in college just made me feel good. And page 25, we're gonna jump down to the bottom and we're gonna get to know Brianna a little bit. Hello, Mrs. Grimes. I hear a southern voice coming from behind me. When I turn around, I see a young woman who probably could have been a black brick girl. Everything about her looks sweet and tender. Her eyes are big and bright, as if she's always interested in what people have to say. And what a little tiny waist. I bet she's the size they just recently invented. A zero. Hi there, Brianna. It's very nice to meet you, honey. I tried to read it right, but make yourself comfortable and have a seat, I say, pointing to the table in the nook, which seems to be the only clean surface in this kitchen. Yes, ma'am. It's very nice to meet you, too. And I want to thank you for inviting me to your home, she says, looking up. You're quite welcome. Well, this has to be the most interesting candelabra. That's a weird word. Top of page 126 I've ever seen. Where did you find something like this? Oh, I made that thing. Or I should say refurbished it. No kidding, how? And I'm not going to finish that. We're going to do a second part to finish this dialogue here between the mom and Brianna, right? So that's going to finish out to the bottom of page 126. And her mom starts to talk and get very in depth, but we're not going to skip past that. We're going to jump back to that and highlight that as a really, really, really important part, because I think that's so powerful. Here we go. It goes this. But before, so Brianna says, when Brianna comes out of the pantry, because her hair is long, she's having a hard time tying the apron string behind her neck. Spencer, would you mind helping me tie this, please? But before Spencer can go to her aid, Leon beelines it over there and is standing behind the girl so close I can see his stomach touching her back. I'll help you, young lady, he says, lifting the strings over her shoulders, but so close that his palms appear to brush the top of her breasts. Almost, or anything my son can do, I can do better, Leon says. What did you just say? I asked. Yeah, Dad, chill out, man. And back away from her. You don't mind? If you don't mind. You are tripping too hard, dude. Leon drops the strings and looks at us like we're the ones tripping. What did I say? I was just kidding. The poor girl looks like she's afraid to move. Your joke wasn't funny, Dad. Spencer says. I agree, Arthurine says, once she gets Prezelle settled in at the table in the nook. You were way out of line, son. But I didn't do anything. Look, if I offended you, Brianna, I apologize. I was just trying to say that my son takes after his dad and that you're just getting a younger version of me. Didn't you get it? She nods her head as if she knows she should, not because she wants to. And we're going to skip down a bit. Want to help Grandma and Brianna make some cake? She says to Sage. She just nods. I can tell she just woke up. We're starting to talk here about memory loss. And Brianna says, both of my grandmas and my granddaddy on my mama's side had that. It's awful, Brianna says. How many eggs, Miss Grimes? 8, I say. Had what? Spencer asks. Alzheimer's. We don't know if that's what she has. It probably is, Brianna says. And then we're going to skip in and get a little closer. And then it says, everybody's looking at Leon, waiting to hear what he says next. He likes this attention. And then he takes a deep breath and blurts out, Marilyn's pregnant! At first, there's an utter silence all over the room. Page 130. I thought you were going through menopause, Sabrina says. My mama was 44 when she had my little brother, and he turned out just fine, Brianna says. Brianna's a mess. She just chiming in. Leon's grin is wide. He isn't even thinking about standing here center stage, surrounded by a crowd of onlookers who are probably waiting to hear what melody would come out of his mouth. And Lovey would probably sing it for them, but I can't sing. I'm not pregnant anymore. I had a miscarriage, but I can't sing. And this is where Marilyn's going to finish out with some dialogue. I'm not pregnant anymore. I had a miscarriage. It happens, I say, and dump the contents of the first box of yellow cake mix into the stainless steel bowl. Man, I'm doing my best to fly through these segments, but I'm just having so much fun reading these chapters. They're so powerful. You know, this is the meat of the story. We are absolutely, so we're 2/3 of the way through this book. 2/3 of the way. And as we've made it this far, 2/3 of the way, we have begun to there's not many more questions. All the questions have been answered. All we need to do now is focus on the character development. How are these characters now being formed and developed? Who can we see the most clearly? How can we see them clearly? What will we imagine them wearing? What will we imagine them doing? What will we imagine them as problem solving? Guys, I'm going to end the video chat here on Humans of the Ocean channel, YouTube channel, but we're going to keep streaming on the podcast.